Welcome, history lovers. Today, we're journeying through the incredible rise and fall of ancient Rome. From a humble village to the heart of an empire, we'll uncover how Rome shaped the world we live in today. So get ready for tales of heroism, ambition, power, and betrayal as we explore the astonishing history of Rome. Chapter 1. The Founding Myths, 753 BC. Our story begins with myth and legend. According to Roman tradition, Rome was founded in 753 BC by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus, abandoned as infants and raised by a she-wolf. When they grew older, Romulus would ultimately kill Remus in a dispute over where to build their city, thus becoming Rome's first king. As the years passed, this legendary tale became the foundation of Rome's identity, creating a legacy that the Romans would carry through centuries of conquests and achievements. Chapter 2. The Early Kings and Etruscan Influence, 753 BC to 500 BC. Rome began as a monarchy, ruled by a succession of kings who oversaw the city's initial growth. Early Rome was deeply influenced by the neighboring Etruscans, who brought with them advanced architecture, religious practices, and even the early foundations of the Latin alphabet. The Romans borrowed heavily, adapting Etruscan customs and innovations, which allowed the fledgling city to thrive. This period came to a dramatic end when the last king, Tarquin the Proud, was overthrown in 509 BC. Marking a pivotal shift in Roman history as the monarchy was abolished and the Roman Republic was born. Chapter 3. The Birth of the Republic, 509 BC to 264 BC. The establishment of the Roman Republic marked a new era, where Rome would be governed not by kings, but by elected officials and a complex system of checks and balances. This was a time of fierce internal struggles, as patricians, the aristocratic class, and plebeians, the common people, vied for power, eventually leading to a balance of rights and laws to maintain social order. During this period, Rome also began to expand its influence across the Italian peninsula, often clashing with neighboring tribes and cities. By the mid-3rd century BC, Rome had successfully dominated Italy, uniting diverse communities under its growing power. Chapter 4. The Punic Wars and the Rise of a Mediterranean Power, 264 BC to 146 BC. With control over Italy, Rome set its sights on the Mediterranean, but a powerful rival stood in its way: Carthage. The two cities would engage in a series of brutal conflicts known as the Punic Wars, beginning in 264 BC. The most legendary of these wars was the Second Punic War, in which the Carthaginian general Hannibal led an audacious invasion into Italy, crossing the Alps with war elephants and scoring victories against Rome. Yet despite Hannibal's brilliance, Rome ultimately triumphed, and by 146 BC, Carthage was destroyed. The victory in the Punic Wars marked Rome's emergence as a dominant Mediterranean power, expanding its territory and influence like never before. Chapter 5. The Republic in Crisis, 146 BC to 49 BC. Rome's victories brought great wealth, but also internal tensions. The influx of slaves and riches from conquered territories led to economic disparities, with wealthy elites gaining more power at the expense of the lower classes. Reforms by figures like the Gracchus brothers sought to address these issues, but led to violent clashes and political instability. By the 1st century BC, Rome was rife with corruption, social unrest, and the ambitions of powerful generals. One of these generals was Julius Caesar, who, after years of military success, famously crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BC, sparking a civil war that would mark the end of the Republic. Chapter 6. The Rise of the Empire and Julius Caesar, 49 BC to 44 BC. Julius Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon was a bold and fateful decision. The civil war that followed saw Caesar defeating his rival Pompey and assuming unprecedented power. Though he claimed to be restoring the Republic, Caesar was effectively ruling as a dictator. Caesar's rule was cut short in 44 BC when he was assassinated by senators who feared his growing power and sought to preserve the Republic. His death led to another power struggle that would ultimately end the Republic once and for all. Chapter 7. Augustus and the Pax Romana, 31 BC to AD 180. Out of the chaos, Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, emerged victorious. In 31 BC, after defeating Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Octavian became Rome's first emperor, taking the title Augustus. His reign ushered in the Pax Romana, a period of peace and stability that would last for 200 years. Under Augustus and his successors, Rome expanded its borders to its greatest extent, stretching from Britain to Egypt. The empire's infrastructure, laws, and culture thrived, establishing a legacy of governance, architecture, and philosophy that would last for centuries. Chapter 8. The decline begins, AD 180 to AD 476. Despite its power, cracks in the empire's foundation began to show by the 3rd century. AD political corruption, economic troubles, and constant barbarian invasions strained Rome's resources. The empire was eventually split into the Western and Eastern Roman empires to make governance easier. In the 5th century, Rome faced an onslaught of invasions by various tribes, including the Visigoths and Vandals. In AD 476, the Western Roman Empire finally fell when the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed, marking the end of ancient Rome. Chapter 9. The legacy of Rome and the Byzantine Empire, AD 476 onward. Although the Western Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, would continue for nearly 1,000 more years, with its capital in Constantinople. It preserved much of Roman law, culture, and knowledge, ensuring Rome's legacy would endure. The Roman Empire had left an indelible mark on the world, influencing language, law, architecture, and governance. Its spirit lived on in the Byzantine Empire and through the spread of Roman ideas across medieval Europe and beyond. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the rise and fall of ancient Rome. If you loved exploring history with us, ring the bell to stay tuned for more epic tales. Remember, Rome may have fallen, but its legacy endures in the foundations of our world today. Until next time, keep exploring the past and let history inspire your future.